Okay, let's make a short video to showcase how we can make a wireless dimming from a Shelly input module to control a Shelly dimmer. I'm showing in today how to control from a Shelly i4 Gen3 to control a Shelly Pro Dimmer 2 p.m. It could also be the Pro Dimmer 1 p.m. It would also work with the Shelly Dimmer Gen3. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's no simple way to control or to define which input module should control the turn on, turn off, and the brightness change of a dimmer. So that is why we have made a script. We have made a guide, a tutorial how to do this. So this is what we will show now. So let me change to my browser here. So first of all, I would like to show you where you can find the guide tutorial. So if you go to our website, shelly.guide, this is the website where we are showing our guides and tutorials. If you go to scripting and virtual components, and then you can go to this tab here, this section called wireless dimming with input module. And you can use any kind of input. You can use an input from a small Shelly Mini or whatsoever. But you can also use the Shelly i4 as an input, dedicated input module. The guide is in Danish and it is in English. And here you can see in step by step how to do it. So step one is to access the device's web interface and to find the IP address of the device. Next thing is we need to update the device firmware. Third step is to select or change the input of the button. So we need to change the input type from a switch to a button mode, because we're using the short push instead of just a toggle on and toggle off. Then we need to insert and prepare the script, to prepare it and insert it. But I will show you all this. The important thing is, if you scroll a little bit down, here you can see a script if you want to control the dimmer 2, the old generation dimmer. If you want to control the dimmer Gen 3 and the Pro dimmer, you need to use this script. And basically what you do is that you press the plus icon here, and here you have the whole script. Don't be scared, it's a bit long, but you don't have to make many changes. The only thing which is important is that you need to adjust the IP addresses, and the IP addresses defines which device you are controlling. There's also a small description, so add here which device IP address and channel you want to control. So this means that we need to copy the script and insert it into the input module, and then it's sending messages to the output module here. So this is basically how it works. All right, let's continue. Good. If we scroll a little bit down, here you can see step 5a, how to configure the script. So the text says, when the script is pasted, navigate to lines 12 to 15. There are 4 lines containing IP addresses. Each line / IP address corresponds to an input to Shelly i4. If you want the first input, 0, or input 1 on the i4 to control the dimmer 2, with the IP address, you need to specify the IP in the first line to match. Good. So all of the IP addresses here is the IP addresses of the dimmer that we would like to control. So I've made a short template where we can basically insert our IP addresses, just to make it more easy to navigate in, and also for type of documentation. So let's just walk through it step by step to see how it works. So I go to control.shelly.cloud. I prefer to do this from a computer. It's way easier compared to do it from a mobile phone. You can do it from a mobile phone, but it's easier from a computer. So I have already found my room. This is a customer account. And inside the office, we want this input module here, switch 1 in the office, or button 1 in the office to control the dimmer near the window. This is the dimmer. And this is the same input module, but this is another input that should control the ceiling lamp. Okay, so what we have to do now is that we need to define or to first set up the settings in the right way. So these switches here are set up as, or these input modules are set up as switches. We need to change the input type to be a button. So we do that by pressing the cogwheel here. And then we go to, first of all, update the firmware, but I already did that. Oh, I see. Actually, I did not update the firmware. Let me just quickly update the firmware of the input modules here. Let me see if there are any updates for the dimmers as well. Then I need to update them. Okay, there is actually an update. So I will update the devices, and after the update, we can start making the device settings, and we can set up the scripts so we can get the wireless dimming done. We'll let them update. All right, so our update is completed now. So let me first set up the settings for, let's start with the dimmer, because the dimmers needs to be calibrated. With the latest firmware, after firmware 1.7, we are on 1.71 now. The firmware, the calibration will automatically be done first time you turn on the light. But we can also do it manually by going to calibration and press the calibrate button. Now the lights should turn on and turn off, brighten up and brighten down automatically. Calibration problem detected. It could be that there's no load attached as it says here. So maybe that's the reason. If there's no load connected, we can still make the settings, but the calibration will first be done when it's turned on first time with a load connected. Let me see if I can calibrate the other channel, because this is the same dimmer, but 2 different channels most likely. Let me go to the calibration tab and press calibrate. Let's see if there's anything attached. This is a customer account, so I don't know actually if there are anything attached or connected, any load. It says no load. So let's just skip the calibration. Now you know how to do it. Let's set up let's change a few more device settings. What I recommend is to go to the settings of the dimmer and also to change the transition duration. This is a matter of what you prefer, but the transition duration means that it takes 3 seconds now to turn on the lights, so it will brighten up very slow over 3 seconds, and to me it's a bit too long, so I prefer to change this to 1 second. This is my preferred setting. Also, I think most often the button fade rate is a little bit slow. I prefer to set it to 4 or 5x. It means that the change in the brightness goes a little bit faster. And that's basically it. It's also a good idea to check the minimum brightness on toggle, meaning when you switch it from the input, how bright it can be. Also, the minimum brightness in general, I recommend setting it to 2, 3, or 4%, depending on how long you can dim it down. After the calibration, this should have been set automatically, but once again, if you need to make changes, you can do it manually like this. The device is now rebooting after changing the minimum brightness. Let's wait for the reboot, and let's start with the configuration of the input module at the same time. So press the input module you want to configure, press the cogwheel here, and then go to input settings. Change it from a switch to a button. Now it changed, and you can see instead of the on-off icon, you can see a finger pointing. To identify, to test, you can try to press 1 or 2 or 3 times, or maybe make a long push, and then you should be able to see a small dot, a double, 2 dots, 3 dots, or a line based on which type of press you're making. Let's do it for the other lamp as well. That's the only setting we need to do here. So go to input settings and change it to a button. That's it. Now we're actually ready to get started with our script. I'll show you an Excel template I made because I find it easier to get the big overview here. So let me find my Excel file, put it up, and let me move it a little bit around like this. So we need some information before we can make the settings correct. So I prefer to have a name here of the input module. So we have the input module information and we have the output module information. So in this case, I want the switch 1. I can copy the name from here. The switch 1 office ceiling lamp to control the ceiling lamp. I'll just put the name here so I know which input we're talking about. Then we need to define which input is it actually, because an input module will show up as 4 individual devices in the Shelly app. So go to device information of the input module, and here you can see this is device channel 0. So it goes from 0, 1, 2, 3 of the 4 channels. So I will call this channel 0. And then I have to put the IP address here. Copy and paste the IP address. It's very good to know the IP address. And then we should do the same for the output module. So the output module that it should control the dimmer. I could call it a dimmer module instead. Good. So I'll find the dimmer, the ceiling lamp here. I'll press it inside the app. And I will go to the settings, device information, copy the IP address. I will paste the IP address here. I will also copy, find the channel. I can also see that somewhere. So this is also channel 0. So there are 2 outputs, output 1 and output 2 of the Pro 2 dimmer 2 PM. And this is the first output called device channel 0. So I'll call this device channel 0 as well. And then the naming. So this is called ceiling lamp. Like this. Good. We could add here, this is in the office or something like that. Just so we know which room it is inside. Maybe that's a good idea to add as well. Good. Okay. So let's get started. Now we have the information we need to adjust the script. So I will remove my Excel file here and show you how to insert the scripting. So what we do now is that we copy our script. You can see here we can copy the whole script from here. And then we need to insert the scripts. And as I said, we should insert the script on input module. So we go to the input module here and we go to this tab, the scripting tab here. Then we press create a new script. Here we can paste the script and we can give it a name. So I would like to call this office ceiling lamp script. Now we know this is the script controlling the ceiling lamp. Good. And here you can see what we need to change. So as written here, add here which device IP address and channel you want to control. So here you can see that what you need to remember, the first line is the first input 0. The second line is the second input, which is called input 1 in the Shelly world. Third input 2, and the fourth input, which is input 3. So we only need to use the first 2 inputs here, as we actually can use the same script to control 2 different dimmers. So basically, we just need to use the same script here. So we could also change the naming and just call it office lighting script. I think that's better because then it says that we're using the same script for both of our office lighting. Let me go back and share the Excel file because here I have the information that we need. Let me move it a little bit. Something is going wrong like this, so we can see what we are doing. Good. Now I think we can see what's happening. So what I will do now is that I will copy the IP address of the dimmer. This is what I need. Then I will paste it, because you can see here channel 0 should control channel 0. So channel 0 is the first one, and here I will insert the script. And this is channel 0 that we want to control. So that's basically it. I have not checked, but I would imagine that channel 1 should control channel 1 of the dimmer. Let's see. But that's basically what we need to do. And then we press save on the save icon here. And now our wireless dimming should work. Let me check if the IP address is right and the channel is right also of the dimmer. So let me close this. Actually, that's one very important thing. We need to press here the run button, the play button, and we need to press this run on startup, meaning that if we have a power loss or if we are rebooting the device, we want the script to automatically run on the reboot, after reboot. So now the dimming should work. So it's actually pretty easy. Once you have tried it first, it's very easy. But let me, I'm sorry, I forgot to remove the Excel file. Let me just remove the Excel file so you can actually see what's happening. So here, again, it's very important to press the play button. So as default, there's no blue ring around the play button. We need the blue ring around the play button. And we also need to press this run on startup. So the script will automatically start after a reboot. Good, that's it. Let me check the IP address, as I said, of the second dimmer, so we can use the same script to control another dimmer. So let me pull up my Excel file here, and let me go to my my window dimmer. Go to the settings tab, and here we can see on the device information it is the same IP address. So I can basically just put in the same IP address here. What's different is the channel. So if I scroll a little bit down, you can see this is channel 1. So I'll put in channel 1 here of the dimmer, like that. And then I will call this dimmer DCL window, so I know which dimmer I am actually controlling. The same goes for the input module. Basically, we don't need the IP address of the input module, but I like to have it. I think it's nice to have the documentation done right. So let me find the input that should control the window. So I press it here. I go to the settings tab and device information. This is channel 1, as you can see, and it's the same IP address. So I'll insert the IP address. I will put in here channel 1. And I will also insert the name. So it's called switch 1 because it's the same switch, office, window, like that. So now we know exactly which device, which input of each device should control which output. And I'm pretty sure that I did it right with the scripting. But let's go ahead and check if it was correct. If you need to do any changes in the scripting, you press the input module here. You go to the scripting tab. Then you press here the edit button. Then the scripts loads and it pulls up, and we can see here the settings. So let's check the second input of the input module, this line here. It says it's 192.168.0.130. And yeah, this is the right dimmer, and it's a channel 1 of the dimmer that we would like to control. So that's correct. And it's also channel 1 of the input module, meaning channel 0 and channel 1 of the input module. So it's perfect. Now we should be able to control the brightness with the correct input and the correct output. So this is the tutorial, the guide. I hope it works as it should. There are different things inside the script you can adjust and change, but if it, I mean, most often it will work very fine as it is. But for example, you can also change the dimming speed, how fast it should change the brightness inside the scripts here. under the fade rate and so on. But I don't want to go into details with this. I think it's fine as it is now. So press the save button here, close the script editor, and now we are up and running. Good luck.